So my name is Joe Benso. I work for the Casper Association. The association oversees the ongoing development of the public Casper blockchain. If you're unfamiliar with the Casper blockchain, it's an emerging enterprise-grade layer 1 proof-of-stake blockchain with upgradable smart contracts. Has some interesting implications for NFTs. But what I do want to talk about today is beyond Casper, the evolving multi-chain ecosystem, where we do believe we are headed, and we are currently evolving this interoperable multi-chain ecosystem. We do believe that that's the future, and where Casper plays a part in that, I think is going to be interesting and dynamic. Speaking of dynamic, just want to highlight a couple highlights here that we see trend-wise across NFTs that are kind of shaping the evolution and really leading to a more mature ecosystem. First off, dynamic NFTs and mint mechanics. There's a lot of experimentation taking place in these fields. The project on the left, actually it's a number of projects from an artist, Dario De Siena, well known for his collaborations and work within the Bored Ape Yacht Club community and remixes. Experimenting now with the holders of any one of his collections being able to burn and redeem, so giving up their NFT, sending it to a burn address, and in exchange redeeming another NFT where he's applying certain elements for benefits for his new project, access to certain things. So there's a lot of experimentation around burn mechanics, but also dynamic NFTs combined with that. You may be familiar with Jack Butcher and his project Checks, which is right here as well. Basically using the smart contract as an extension of the art canvas, right? And so we're seeing some really interesting experimentation taking place where the smart contract itself serves as the art canvas, right? So the artwork itself updating over time based on certain dynamics, interplay between the conversations around NFTs in the space, so commentary on the entire ecosystem. So interesting things that artists are doing collectively around these two things. Another highlight I want to touch on is the power of communities. You know, it's talked about all the time, and network effects. A project that is doing this well, or at least experimenting across a number of communities, is the D-Labs team. You may know it. They publicly say they may not be getting everything right, but they definitely are experimenting, and they're at least opening up those conversations to take place. What does a project look like when you have a very strong community on Solana, which they're famous for launching on, and then bridging to Ethereum or Polygon, or more recently experimenting with the next shiny object right now, Bitcoin ordinals. So it is opening up experimentation. I think it's very healthy for the growth of the ecosystem, and we're definitely going to see a lot more of this experimentation taking place, where you'll see multi-chain projects evolve over time. Bridging is also a big topic that we see a lot of potential for. Casper is working with a number of projects that are going to bridge non-EVM chains to EVM chains. So this is definitely something to keep an eye out for. Go down that rabbit hole. There's a lot there to explore. Bridges are great. A lot of this infrastructure that's being built is great. However, there is definitely a need for standards, right? Especially when we're talking about large sums of money that's involved in a lot of these projects, especially within the financial industry. Actus is one such standard. It's an open standard that came about in 2008 after the financial crisis. It stands for Algorithmic Contract Types Unified Standards. It's just a fancy way of saying smart contracts. But we definitely will see a wider use of open standards, and until we get there, I believe it's going to be a little bit slower till we see mass adoption, mass disruption for a lot of industries. One such industry that I'd like to highlight here is the music industry. There's a lot of talk about it's extremely ripe for disruption. It's a very bloated, multiple stakeholders. Blockchain does have the potential to solve a lot of the inefficiencies within the music industry, especially around intellectual property rights, copyright, royalties, streaming. It's just a big mess. we are going to see a lot more mature tools that allow for collaborative invention, collaborative profit sharing. This is a project from an artist based out of Nashville, Tennessee that we work with, Alex Wong, a Grammy Award winner, offering users of his NFT to collaborate with him, create new pieces of work, share in the copyright ownership, share in the profits of that directly on chain, on blockchain. We're going to see a lot more of this in the future, and it's super exciting for the potential of the creator economy, which is an area that the Casper network is very focused on as well, and the advancement of. Also, like simplifying things as well. You know, you have multi-chain NFT collectibles. Full disclosure, this is a project that I'm involved in called Outlaw Dogs. It's a Wild West themed 10K PFP project with poker playing involved. Launched on Ethereum, but there is, you know, Ethereum doesn't really provide the necessary benefits that is required for the roadmap and kind of like the dynamic gameplay that we envision this project to ultimately achieve. And so there are some unique things about Casper's upgradable smart contracts that a companion NFT will solve. And we're offering users of the Ethereum to verify ownership, and then gain access to and participate in the broader ecosystem through Casper. So this is an area that I think once people realize the unique benefits of multiple chains, the benefits of Solana, benefits of Tezos, Near, whatever it may be, you're going to see a lot of this collaborative, cherry picking of what blockchains have to offer NFT projects. Super exciting space, an area that we're definitely interested in. And it also applies to these so-called blue chip projects where you're probably familiar with the Bored Ape Yacht Club. A unique thing about the Bored Apes, the owners of the NFTs are granted IP commercial rights ownership to the image itself, right? And so this allows for the possibility, again on the right side, this is a remix, if you're familiar with Dario De Siena's work, kind of iconic style, very well known for his Bored Ape remixes, but traditionally has been done all on Ethereum, right? So this is an example that we're experimenting with as well at Casper, where this NFT, there's going to be an addition when the NFT marketplace is launched, where you have this extension now of the intellectual property. You have this extension of the storytelling of projects across ecosystems. And I believe we are going to see a lot more kind of hands-on approach natively with projects that are launching themselves. So if projects like Bored Apes or the future Bored Apes, right, think about this in advance where they will apply benefits from other chains into the entire project from the very beginning. But these are things that are happening right now. These are just the tips of the iceberg experimentations. I think it's very healthy for the growth of the entire ecosystem. These are just points that I think is interesting to highlight, and I encourage everybody to kind of explore further, go down the rabbit hole. And I'd love to continue this conversation if any of these topics are interesting to you. You can reach me at Joe Benso on Twitter. And if you're interested more about Casper, a little bit of alpha before I leave, I've got 10 seconds. There is a project, first NFT collectible on Casper called Casper Punks. You can go to casperpunks.io. Very interesting project, taking advantage of the upgradable smart contracts. And so I think the future's bright. I know we're in a bit of a bear market, but there's a lot going on, and happy for the builders to stick around. And thanks everybody for your time.